team loses, it's okay. The head coach, it's your fault. Nobody else's fault but yours. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. So that's why you get a lot of the criticisms about the various situations around the world that happen. Of course, not every incident is going to turn out to our advantage. I mean, we're going to have some major challenges to overcome.
That's just like Benghazi.
That situation in particular.
Right. They knew that most of these United States embassy are in high-risk areas. Okay? And the people who are staffed there are aware of that. But the funny thing about this was that the GOP refused to vote on giving embassy more funding for protection.
Absolutely.
And they always be the first one to criticize somebody and say, well, what was it? What happened
That's
to
like
it?
criticizing the head coach because you wouldn't let you wouldn't give us the funds to go get the top player.
But the point of the matter is, you can either play the game of life, you can play games in life, or you can play the game of life. And Republicans were playing games when Obama was elected, so focused on keeping him a one-term president that I think they just overlooked that by you saying no like a baby with a tantrum, you were saying no to some things that were very critical to national security.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. I mean, one thing I like about what you guys said, though, is that the equalizer in life is the fact that those who have money do not have the final say, period.
Absolutely
The
not.
people must rise up, be responsible, of course, that's the Republican platform, be responsible, have ethics and values, but by all means, find out what resources are in your city, your region, your town. Find out what you can do, whether it be through business, through politics, through civics, and join forces for greater America. Don't sit by the sideline, be a pimp, player, and a punk, and expect change to affect you. We all can affect change. That's what I like about the presidency. What you guys think?
Well said, Marcus. I guess we'll pause and get ready to take a small break. And we'll come back, and we're going to talk about and tie all this in what we talked about today on our Fiscal Cliff, women rights, citizen rights, and voters' rights.
Okay. Talk about it when we come back. Guys, stay tuned.
Entry invalid.
Mode. Mode. 5 seconds.
The Windows Phone 8X by HTC on Verizon. It features easy-to-navigate live tiles that are simple to customize. Just pin what matters most right to your home screen. Exclusively with DataSense, a feature that makes the most of your plan. Only on Verizon.
Oh, hey, Mike. Where do you have to?
Just diagramming this accident with my State Farm Pocket Agent app. You can also get a quote and pay your premium with this thing.
I thought State Farm didn't have all those apps.
Where'd you hear that?
The internet.
And you believed it?
Yeah. They can't put anything on the internet that isn't true.
Where'd you hear that? The internet.
Oh, look. Here comes my date. I met him on the internet. He's a French model.
Bonjour.
State Farm. More mobile than ever. Get to a better state.
It's time to pursue our dreams, to chase what we believe in. It's time to work, to give it our very all and not give up. American Family Insurance believes your dreams deserve the best protection. That's why we're committed to being there for you every step of the way.
You're listening to SIBN Radio on the Saluda USA TV iBroadcasting Network. You're listening to SIBN Radio.
Well, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for joining us right here on The Political Rant. Thank you so very much for listening, following us on Spreaker. By the way, follow us also on Twitter so you can keep up, because there's a lot of stuff going on. You got to be able to keep up. And Stan, what you think, man?
Hey, this has been the most explosive conversation. I really love this, and I'm going to do it again every Sunday, man. Sounds like a good idea. And one of the things that we keep talking about is how we tie in the Fiscal Cliff with citizens and voters' everyday lifestyle. And we'll know how this affects us. That we still want jobs. That's the number one thing that we're concerned about. You know, the president had a job bill on the table for the GOPs to vote on it because it had already passed in the Senate. But they refused to vote on it. They filibustered. They just would not do anything that would help the economy. Their main concern for the last couple of years has been to make sure that the wealthy people has their say. So I guess they're all bought out, Bill.
Could be.
That's not a good thing for us, you know, as citizens.
Thing.
You know, because we need social programs. This is a government body. And we also need jobs out there. And that's the number one thing that people voting for Barack Obama is to get jobs. And it's not going that way too well.
Apple has been discussing about a new iPad that's going to be made here in America. One of the questions I want to bring on the table as we talk about jobs is, can America return to its manufacturing base for the next decade? We need jobs, and we do know that manufacturing was more than 35% of American jobs. Manufacturing disappeared, I think, personally, under Reagan for challenging the unions and so much more. But can we return to a resurgence of manufacturing in this country that is competitive? And might I add as a sub-question that math and science, as President Obama has so well stated more often than not, is connected to the manufacturing base. So we may have an educational question as we try to answer that question about whether or not manufacturing can return to America's employment cake, if you will.
You know, it's not a question of things happening all at once, Mark. Things happen gradually. For example, Honda Corporation has built a facility in North Carolina to build jets. Okay, that's not an American company. It's a Japanese company, but they're building jets in America. It's creating American jobs. GM, on the other hand, has just announced a big program to build cars in China. Okay, that's creating, you know, a lot of Chinese jobs, but there's a big demand over there. It makes sense for them to do that. Doesn't make sense for them to try to build cars here and ship them to China when the market over there is what it is over there in China. It's just like Honda. They're not going to build their jets where the market isn't there. The market is here for jets, so they're building them here. So when there comes a time for market forces where there's a demand for these products and we can produce them at a cost that's reasonable so that they can be gotten to the consumers at a reasonable price, then we'll have manufacturing type jobs here. But it's not going to happen It's not going to happen overnight.
But I think you raise another point of awareness for us who are average listeners to talk radio and other avenues of how does politics affect me, and that is that maybe the greater question is, how can American policymakers as well as the citizens make it palatable for companies to want to invest in America, to where headquarters could be here in the States, in the mainland, to create jobs? Maybe that's a better question.
Well, what they've done in the past is give them tax breaks, and that really is a problem. What has happened is various governors in various states give tax breaks to different companies in different industries. If you look at the movie industry, for example, okay, the movie industry is one of the prime examples of different states competing with each other to see who can give the most tax breaks to movie companies that will make a movie in their state. And it ended up that New York really gave tremendous tax breaks to movie companies, and all of a sudden a lot of movies are being made in New York. And California does it, and all of a sudden movies are being made in California. Well, they can't keep competing with each other like that. You know, the business has to stand on its own. Okay, without, you know, citizens paying for it, because that's really what happens, is the citizens pay for it when you give tax breaks, because that reduces those funds available to the state for other purposes.
That's good. I like that.
Okay. So you have to be careful with that approach.
But as with
to generating jobs.
But I want to ask you this question. It sounds like to me what you're saying is that the film industry, particularly in Hollywood, the official Hollywood, not the Hollywood of the South, ran into the same problems that the Republicans ran into. And that is they thought that the technological advances would not affect them because they had the money base. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of midway changes in our lives, from politics to industry. You know, we have new industries being born, and we have politicians that fight those new industries, while other industries are dying. I don't know. We seem to have an imbalanced effect.
Well, in a lot of cases, politics needs to just get out of the way.
Yeah,
they're not supporting business; they're in the way of business.
Right.
And so, if they'll just step back and just get out of the way and let guys who create jobs create them, and just leave them alone.
But that's what the Republican platform, and I think that we need to be able to say safely here, or ask the question safely here, is what part of that, because that sounds Republican, what part of that platform is good? And I think what you just said is one of the good things, if it's in balance, is to get out of the way of business. But the Republicans would say, well, hey, we don't want the federal government interfering in business development and business growth.
Well, there's a limit to that. It's like if you're in the food industry, for example, you don't want to be able to make a food out of cardboard and sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be some regulations involved in any business.
Bingo.
Okay.
Regulations.
If you're in the car business, you cannot just make a car that's if you hit something, then it's going to crumble and kill the passenger. It has to meet certain standards.
Right.
So that's going to be true with every, and that's the job of government, to establish the standards and then be in a position to enforce the standards, but not to make it so prohibitive that you're causing someone not to make the effort to produce the job to begin with.
Very well said. Very well said. Stan?
Well, it's the same thing. I've looked at it with jobs. Is that why would they want to outsource a lot of jobs? It's because most corporate America want to make money. They want to eliminate paying all the taxes on the federal and state and Social Security.
Well, not only that, you got cheap labor.
Well,
what, $1.25 an
people
hour
here in the United States, they buy that product too, and they want to make a nice living, decent wages. But the GOP, they never sell for that. We want it all. There's no compromising. Otherwise, you would have compromising with labor. You would have all the jobs would be outsourced away.
Yeah.
But they keep forgetting that. You know, that's the same thing that the guy, Godfather Pizza, ran into when he said, well, it's going to cost me an extra 14, 16 cents on each pizza to run up. We're not going to do it. We're going to cause me to make everybody part-time. Until he found out that those same people that buy his people are the one who works. So I rest my case on it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Case made. Case made.
Barack Obama, make the middle class case.
Yes.
I'm standing behind you. You won the election. Good riddance and kudos to the GOP. Miss Bush said it. Y'all lost. Get over it.
Get over it. And we'll salvage what we can. It goes back to our special guest today. We'll salvage what we can. All parties bring something to the table.
Yes.
But the bottom line is that for the past 12 years, the middle class income, particularly, as well as status, for that matter, has declined. And it's time for us to rise up. Is that my time?
That's your time.
All right, you guys.
We had fun.
Thank you so much.
Enjoyed it. Thank you, guys.
So much for joining us right here on the Political Rant. My name is Marcus Salette, and with that being said, I'm out of here. I'll leave you with a little bit of holiday cheer. See you next time.